We return now to our top story, the August jobs report. The economy added just 22,000 jobs, well below expectations. The Dow reacted, falling 220 points. Here to discuss is economist Michael Strain of the American Enterprise Institute. Michael, it's good to be with you again. What do you take out of the jobs report that we should be paying attention to here?
I think there are two things happening in the jobs report. One thing is we are seeing a continuation of the gradual slowdown in the strength of the labor market, the gradual weakening of the labor market. And that's been happening for at least the past year. The second thing that's happening is that the president's immigration policies have led to a big reduction in the size of the workforce and the number of workers who are employed. And so that the combination of those two paints a kind of a difficult picture to parse. I think the headline jobs number that everybody is focused on is a little bit misleading. When the economy was experiencing huge inflows of immigrants, a healthy month for job gains was around 250,000. Today, a healthy month for job gains is closer to 50 or 60,000. So we shouldn't be too alarmed by the low headline number of payroll gains. Instead, we should be focusing on things like the unemployment rate, which is a little bit elevated, but not worryingly elevated. It's been gradually rising over the past year. We should be looking at wage growth, and wage growth actually looks pretty strong. So I see a labor market that is definitely weakening, but that is still strong, and that is not in peril of sudden collapse.
And where, in the broader economy, other things are looking how? Growth and those kinds of other measures, to put these numbers, I guess, in the larger economic context.
Yeah, I think it's a similar story in the rest of the economy. The economy was stronger in 2024 than it is in 2025. I don't think there's any question about that. But underlying growth looks kind of reasonably healthy. Underlying industrial activity looks reasonably healthy. Consumer spending continues to grow. And, the big story in the economy right now, the two big stories, the president's policies, those are a drag on growth. The AI boom, that's pushing growth forward. And I think when you look at the economy as a whole, you see those two factors fighting each other.
What about rates? The president says rates should go down, down, down.
Yeah, I would be, well, certainly rates should not go down as much as the president wants. The president has called for a 3 percentage point reduction in the federal funds rate, in the Fed's policy rate. That would be a catastrophic error of historic proportions. The Fed is deciding whether or not it wants to cut rates later this month. The consensus is the Fed's going to cut rates by 0.25%. Some people think the Fed should cut by 0.5%. If I were the Fed, I would hold off on making any decisions until we get inflation data that is coming out next week. And I see the labor market as stronger than I think a lot of people see it. If we get an upside surprise on the inflation data next week, which I think is definitely possible, that to me argues against cutting at all in September, but certainly not cutting as much as the president wants.